Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to sunny, beautiful, warm Miami. But before we dive into this first official match against LAFC, the first official match of the season for us, I did want to take a quick moment to tell you what I've learned throughout the second half of our friendly season. I've actually figured out several things I've done wrong with the draft, and shortly thereafter, not only did my friend Kosa point out that I passed over George Wagner, who has absolutely incredible finishing. At the time, didn't have the best of numbers, but now that you look at him, he kind of not too bad actually. But I passed over him during the draft, but I also kind of realized that I had no idea what to do with the players after I drafted them. And so basically, what I did is I gave contracts to the players that I thought would be great, and then I had my GM do the rest of the work. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that I probably should have let those guys go who were never going to make it into the team. So we had contracts, we had money, we had bodies in place. I didn't need them at all, and it's really kind of screwed me right now. So with that, it kind of leads me to the much bigger problem, the salary cap. You have to set that out before the first game of the year, which we're at right now. Basically, another item in an MLS save I knew was coming, but I had no clue how hard it would smack me in the fucking face. This is one time I actually did a playthrough, reload, rinse, repeat. I did it so many times, and it honestly, it's not because I wanted to cheat. It's not because I wanted to find the perfect match. It's because I had no idea what the hell was going on, and I had to figure it out. And the only way I did it was to kind of play through things, learn that that doesn't work. And I don't mean it's, oh, I got the wrong transfer. It's that really doesn't work. You cannot do it that way. So I'd reload it, try again, and continue on. Now I think I finally understand how things are working. And as we switch over to the scene that you're now looking at, you'll see that we did have to waiver a bunch of players, which I had no interest of doing. And basically what happens is you get to the salary cap, you can only afford an X amount of money, you can only afford an X amount of wages for the coming year. Anything over that is too much and you have to drop someone, so you drop back under that. And if they're not registered, they are then wavered, which means any other team can pick them up in another kind of, it's not a draft, but it's sort of a draftish type of thing. I don't know how to explain it. Basically, any team can look at a player that's on the waiver wire and say, oh, I want them. And then there's a list, an order to it of, if they're first in the list, then they get the rights to talk to that person. If they're last in the list, they have to make sure no one else in that list wants to talk to them first. So obviously, the later on in that list you are, the bigger problem you're going to have if it's a really good player that you want to talk to. But if you don't register that player, they're put on the waiver wire. If they go through, I think it's till March maybe that they're on the waiver wire. I don't know if they can play with you in that time because I haven't gotten to that point yet. I don't think so. I think they're technically a free agent. But after that waiver wire, they're then a free agent. They're not on your team at all completely. And you don't have to worry about them anymore. So with that, we had a bunch of players put on the waiver wire that I had no interest of doing whatsoever. Perez is a huge loss for us because our two center backs were Fagal and Perez, and now we are only down to Fagal. Carranza, Federico Higuain, Ulloa, and Shea, Makun as well. These are players I really may not have wanted to use day in and day out, but really needed a backup for, and I don't have them anymore. So even you can use what's called general allocation money, GAM, to buy down players' contracts, not the contracts, but the money in the contracts that's goes towards this salary cap. So if you have a player that's making $400,000 a year or pounds a year, whatever I have it set to, you can buy that contract down to the level where it's like $300,000 or 300 pounds a year, and that saves you 100,000 on the salary cap. I had to do that, and I do have some money left. I have like 140 or 180,000 left in general allocation money, but it's still not 375 that I had before. So that really hurts, and it's only because I could not figure out the right mix of players, and I had to just get rid of these guys that I had no desire to do. And to be honest, I really kind of want to know how sustainable this is. Like, how is this a sustainable market where Miami had a fairly good squad? I mean, it's you have the likes of, you know, Higuain and Matuidi and a bunch of players that are really good for this league, and you had prospects like Carranza and Jorge Wagner or George Wagner, whatever you want to call him. But you got to get rid of them because you can't afford them. So it's I mean, I don't know money. I don't really work with it. I'm not very good with it, but I just don't see how this is a sustainable thing. So, I mean, all that basically leads me in the first couple of minutes of this episode to basically tell you I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how the season is going to go. I don't know how, if after the season, how it will work. If I'm going to just basically say, I can't deal with this anymore and just go back to Europe because that's where I would rather be. It is very tough. MLS is incredibly tough. And if you read anything on FM Scout, on Passion for FM, on whatever blog post you look at, they all tell you this. They all say this is a hard league to understand. And I didn't realize how hard it really was. But the good news is if we go back to our friend George Wagner, Jorge Wagner, I don't know. He is a free agent. That's the good news. However, as does 2020, kicks you in the ass right when you think you're about to get up. You'll see that his, transfer status, MLS player rights held by Chicago Fire until 12/31/2022. That means I cannot talk to him without buying those rights. So if you think about it as a song you want to hear on the radio, you can't play that unless you have the rights to it. And this dude I can't talk to at all until I get the rights. His numbers are, if I look at him, 18 finishing. Kosa was right. Finishing. Look at that. It's freaking fantastic. Natural fitness of 16 is great. Flair of 16. Yes, heading, technique, decisions, not the greatest. The rest are average, bang on average for what we're expecting. Anticipation 14, not too bad. But that finishing is phenomenal. And with Carranza out of the way, I'm sad to say, I might think of trying to offer them maybe a later round draft pick in a future draft series. Something to think about. And his wages probably would not be expensive. I don't know how the wage structure is from now on. I know during the draft it was $1,000 or £1,000 a week, and that was it. So I'm not sure how it is from now on. We may figure that out. But we do have a match today, and it is the first ever match for Inter Miami on FM21. Granted, we are sitting in February of 2021. Whatever, FM, get your shit stored. So if we look at the schedule, so as you can see, we did finish out the friendly season not too bad. We didn't lose, which is great. We did concede a whole bunch. I mean, granted, it's a whole bunch of ones, but still, we got through very few games, especially this Universidad Técnica de Cajamarca. No, where is this? Movistar. Liga Un Movistar. I don't even know. I'm not even going to look into it. What the hell? Oh, Peru. Right there. Dumb it. But, so that was a pretty bad one. But we did follow that up with 4-1 and then a 7-1 romp of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So, not too shabby. Although this Sacramento one, 2-all, it was tough going. You'll see the Tampa Bay Rowdies, we did kind of shift things up a bit. We went with the 4-2-4, basically. The figure 8, as I'd like to call it. And you'll see in the tactics, we do have, this basic one where you can see all our players that aren't there anymore. But I did shift it to this this figure 8 stuff. It really does work well on some of the lower teams. I mean, you saw 7-1. Granted, there are a league or two below us. I don't even know how that system works. But right now we are playing LAFC. I think we're going to go back to the same tactic that we played with the Red Bulls, as well as LA Galaxy. And see, it's that 4-5-1 or 4-3-3 type of DM wide scenario. So that's what we're going to get into. That is the game that's coming up right now. So this is how we're lining up at the very start of the season. First match against LAFC. First match ever for Inter Miami in FM, at least. Granted, we are in 2021. They have had their official season. Get with it, SI. But Robles in goal, Sweat, Figal, De La Garza, and Van Dalen in the back four or the back five. You can kind of see this is where my issue with the whole process, the whole salary cap, and what it's done to me is. Van Dalen does not look very good right now. 18 bravery, yay! But 8 heading, 9 marking. Tackling is fantastic for this league. But still, he's one for the future. He's not one for right now. And that's what's worrying about. That's what I'm worrying about right now. And I will tell you, that salary cap, I stressed all day about that. I mean, I stressed longer than a day, but I took the entire day to try and figure out what the hell was going on and what to do. And this is what we have. Trap, Matuidi, Aguadella in the midfield. Aguadello in the midfield. Trap was one I really wanted to keep because I said it in previous episodes, or one of the previous episodes, we have a problem in the midfield. And Trap is one of our better players. As much as he hasn't shown it fully, numbers wise, he is the better player out of a lot of the players that we had. So we'll see how much that bites me in the ass, much as 2020 has done already. But Pizarro, Higuain, and Morgan up top. Submit the team. Let's get some numbers going. I don't care. Auto number those bad boys and let's get to the briefing. Why is De La Garza starting? That's an excellent question. One, I don't have an answer for you because this freaking MLS. I have noticed if you do defenders, then midfielders, then attackers, whatever you do through defenders and midfielders goes away when you get to attackers. Whatever, if you're giving them, hey, you're going to do well, I've got faith in you, it all goes away. If you do defenders, attackers, then midfielders, seems not to do that so much. So, helpful little hint from Sefian to you. Free money right there. Okay. The good thing is we are in Miami. Better thing is, minus the stadium right, or this stand right here, it actually looks fairly similar, minus the colors. Inter Miami does not have these side big stands right there. I missed the entire starting lineup. Pizarro, we have had a lot of problems on the sides. I know our tactics have basically brought it up on the sides and then cross it in, or do some kind of movement internally, obviously. But oh no, thank you. But for some reason, and I don't know if it's our players, if it's the tactics, or if it's the game itself, we have had a lot of side movements, and then the moment they get to where they're supposed to cross it, it bangs it straight into it, the other player. There's a lot of pinballing in this game, and it's driving me freaking batty. So Aguadello brings it down all the way over to Sweat, out on the corner. Sweat does something with it. Actually brings it down. Oh! But Higuain has been one I've been a little worried about. He has some fantastic moves. He loves to chip the ball. But he's also had a lot of freaking Lewis Morgan, who has been fantastic this offseason, or the friendly season. But Higuain has some shots that are just awful, and then some that are just fantastic. So I don't know if that's age showing or what, but Morgan getting past the defenders of LAFC for our first ever goal in our freaking stadium. That's what I'm talking about. So Latif, Rossi, and pinballing it back and forth. I've got to get a t-shirt for that. If I had a lot more subs, I would put that on a t-shirt and hope that everyone would buy it. So Trap to Sweat, and pinballs it off of Rodriguez. I was really hoping that would go all the way out. Oh my god, and Rossi is wide open. Robles. There's no help there. So 1-1 at 35 minutes. Oh, that is not what I was hoping for. So Morgan up to Higuain. I may really want to employ. I mean, see, he cannot. Oh, actually, he actually did get past those. Really, Trap? It's like, here, I need to pass it one more time. Oh, wait, that's the goalkeeper. But Higuain has had some issues with speed, and it's become apparent at times. Look at my nails, just because I'm so stressed out about that damn salary cap and everything. Pizarro! know what happened. Why did the goal move? Why did I don't know why they like heading it outwards, and they're right in front of goal. That's happened several times in this. So Pizarro, Aguadello out to trap, back to Aguadello. Then Dallin tries to shoot it for some odd reason. And then it's passed up to Wright Phillips, who I know is a dangerous man. And when he was, I believe he was on New York, wasn't he? New York Red Bulls? I know some names in MLS. I just don't know the ins and outs. So Higuain back passes, Trap picks it up, and then it's just wasted opportunity right there. Wright Phillips has one man to beat. Thankfully, nothing happens. Palacios able to kick it into the wall. Wright Phillips. So it must be a game thing because it's not just us that's having the issue. We are a good passing team. We can pass it. We can, I mean, except for those idiotic moments where they would pass it forward. Oh my God. Goalkeeper was so far out. I don't know what is going on. And we done? I mean, Ulysses, I'm going to say Ulysses, whatever. But it had to come in for Dallin. Looks like they changed the formation, going 2 up front. It's what we probably should have done in the beginning. I probably should go with that from here on out. But 1-5-2, we underperformed, they overperformed according to XG. And man, that was a kick to the pants. Ooh, there's the waiver list. So I see, here's the other thing. Oh, view waiver list. That's what I needed. It's exactly what I needed. So I need to look at this. I need to scout everyone very well, and I need to figure things out and see if I can bring any players in. So we'll see how that goes. Salary, so 514,000. So far over our salary cap right now. If you can see on the squad, I don't know how else to look at it, but the registration salary cap is 4,045,000. We are at 4,040,000. So we have no room to really build, and that's going to be a bitch and a half. But that's what I got to figure out. So that does it for me at Sefian FM for this episode. We have 1 point. That's something. So until next time, take care and enjoy. I guess we have some people who could. Was that even off your own man?